Today I'm going to give you my honest and candid thoughts on this Overland Vehicle Systems Nomadic 270 degree awning. Now I bought this about a year ago, and so I thought it would be fitting and appropriate to do a review and demo on it today. Now this video is not sponsored by the manufacturer, so these are just my honest and candid thoughts. Now my skin and the sun does not get along very well, so I need to get this thing set up ASAP. Now, full disclaimer, I actually haven't set up this awning in several months. This is the first time this season that I'm going to be opening it up, but I thought that way you can see what it looks like for someone who hasn't done it in a while and just show you how simple it really is. Okay, that is much better in the shade there. So you can see that is pretty straightforward and pretty simple. That was the first time that I've set this awning up in several months, and it's just very intuitive. You're just unfolding things there. Now I can put these legs down if I wanted to, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But if it's not super windy outside, what I like about this particular design is that it's robust enough that you don't actually need those legs, and so you get an incredible amount of shade in just minutes. You could attach this to a vehicle. Of course, I've got it attached to my off-road trailer here, but if your skin doesn't get along with the sun, or you like being in the shade and staying cool, this is really, I think, the solution and the way to go. Okay, so the three support legs are down now. Now I know I said before that you can use the awning without the support legs, but in full disclosure, the manufacturer does have a warning up here that says, hey, you're only supposed to use it that way when you're setting it up or tearing it down. Now, personally, I've used it that way before, only when it's not windy. Trust me, you do not want to have this thing open when it's windy, because it's just gonna pick up wind like a sail on a boat. But if you are going to be getting a little bit of wind, then you definitely want to stake down those legs. They actually give you all the stakes you need here with the tie down rope as well. And so it's really convenient. You just stake all of them down into the dirt and make sure that they're secured, so that if a little breeze does come along, you're not having to worry about this awning blowing off and getting damaged. Now let's talk about that for a moment, because if you're going to buy one of these 270 degree awnings or 180 degree awnings and then put it on your off-road trailer or even your vehicle, you know, some people put them on their vehicles on the roof rack. If you're going to buy one of these, you really need to think about how is it going to perform and hold up if you ever do get in a windy situation. And the reason this hits home for me is that this is actually the second awning that I've owned personally. I had another one on a previous rig. It was about 4 years going back. It was kind of an off-road square drop that was mass produced by really an RV brand called Nobo's, a Nobo 10.6. But anyway, that particular RV came with a rhino rack from the factory. And then it had a 180 degree rhino rack awning that was attached to it. And I actually rented out this off-road trailer. This was right about, COVID just after, and so camping was really popular, and so it's kind of a little side hustle for me. But long story short, I cannot tell you how many times I rented that unit out and it came back and the awning was broken and destroyed because the renter had not tied it down and did not realize, how quickly a wind gust can just pick up that awning like a sail. And so on that particular rhino rack 180 degree awning, the way it was designed is it was made more out of steel, and it had these knuckles that attached right here to the frame, and those knuckles were basically sacrificial. So you can see on this particular awning right here, it's all aluminum, and you can see it's been welded right here. So this is all together. This is not something that you can just replace, if it gets broken. But on that Rhino Rack brand awning, there were knuckles here that were basically like a nylon plastic, and then they fed into steel tubes. And so they would be sacrificial. If the awning, picked up wind, then the knuckles would break over here and snap off and basically save the rest of the awning from getting destroyed. And so I forgot how many times that that unit came back and I had to replace and fix the knuckles because of wind damage. So it is an important consideration that you need to think about. And I guess after that experience, you know, after owning that and just seeing how easy it is for wind damage to occur, I really wanted a more substantial awning, you know, something that could tolerate and take a little bit of wind without getting destroyed like that previous awning I had. And so that is why I turned to one of these guys here from Overland Vehicle Systems, the Nomadic model. You know, it's all aluminum, and these are pretty beefy, you know, support arms that go out here. And the welds look pretty good here, the way that they hinge. And so basically this is the strength, okay? Now the downside is if I did leave this out in the wind and it picked up a gust and the whole thing, you know, flipped right side up, then there's a good chance that something in this area is gonna bend. And if that ever did happen, well, I can't replace just a knuckle. I'm probably gonna be replacing a full arm. So that's just something to consider when you're doing awning, you know, adding it to your trailer. Just be thinking about wind. I mean, you can hear probably outside today, the trees kind of blowing in the wind a little bit. We've got just a little bit, but it's not nearly enough to pick up this awning and, you know, take it somewhere. And so I don't have it anchored down. If this was the previous awning that I mentioned, I probably would be a little bit more nervous about leaving it unanchored on a day like today, because I think it could more easily get broken. So in terms of quality, you know, I think you're getting a lot of quality at the price point for this particular awning, a lot of value there. And I mainly went with it because I have the tent over here from the same company, Overland Vehicle Systems. And so I figured, well, might as well get the awning, and that way if I ever have issues, I'm just dealing with one company and not several. But you can see it's a mixture between aluminum, there's some steel in here like this black that's painted there, and then I believe the hardware is all stainless steel, but you've got aluminum right here, and then you've got some nylon straps, of course, some more steel right here where everything hinges, but then again the arms are where it transitions to aluminum. Then the support poles, you've got a little bit of some kind of nylon plastic, kind of a ball joint up here, and then likely I think these are steel poles that are of course adjustable on the length. You just kind of screw them back and forth there. So I think you're getting a lot of value for the price point. It's got a zipper right here, so you could add on an annex, you know, kind of a screen if you wanted to. But I mean, really the benefits of adding one of these awnings, whether it's your trailer or your vehicle, you just get so much space then in the shade. I mean, it just opens up so much space at your campsite to stay protected under the awning and away from the sun and the harmful UV rays. I also like that, and this probably applies to most awnings, but I'll just mention it, that if something did get broken or bent, pretty much all the parts are user replaceable. I mean, they're just using a standard channel right here for the awning fabric to slide into. And you know, you just got standard hardware, and so you can unscrew, unbolt things, slide the whatever the broken part out is, and you know, get a replacement sent to you. So I do like that in case something did happen, that it is serviceable. You don't have to trash the whole awning. And you know, for me, these awnings are really a must-have if you're going to be doing any kind of camping or spending time outdoors in the sun. I mean, when I step out from under here, it's only supposed to be 70 degrees right now. It feels like it's a lot warmer though when I stand in the sun. It feels like it's almost 80 degrees. But then as soon as I step under the awning, I mean, just instant relief from the beating heat of the sun. And so I actually think it'd be really neat to put one of these on a vehicle, and then everywhere you go, you know, if you take a pit stop somewhere and you needed some shade, to be able to, you know, swing it out like that. But yeah, I mean, I just think the benefits of the shade, it just makes it bearable to be outside even in the heat of the summer when you're in the shade like that. And then of course the protection from UV rays and not having to worry as much about, you know, getting overexposure to the sun. Now let me give you some measurements for those who are curious as far as how far does it project off of the trailer there. And basically all the arms are going to project off the same amount. You can see it's right at about 80 inches, 79, 80 inches. And if I were to measure between the two hinges here, it's going to be just a little bit, I think, over 80 inches. Yeah, about 83, 84 inches. So basically they're maximizing the space there between the two hinges so that when everything folds up, you know, the arms are maximizing the space. And then if you want a dimension on the overall width there, from side to side, it's going to be about 88 inches when you factor in the hinges and some, you know, surplus on either side. So, I mean, considering that it's 88 inches basically across the overall footprint, and then you get all of this shade, you know, coming out of that small form factor, that small footprint, that's what I think makes this so incredible and so very practical. Now let me talk about how well it's held up. Like I said before, I've owned this for about a year now. I would not consider myself a heavy user, by the way. I mean, this is something that I'm not using it every weekend. It's probably anywhere from, you know, 12 to 16 weekends each year during the camping season. And on the weekends that I am using it, I will say it's not uncommon for me to, you know, set it up and tear it down multiple times, you know, each night, depending on what the weather is going to be looking like. And I mean, you can see it looks practically unused. I mean, I try to take care of my stuff, but even so, the fabric has held up just fine. And I mean, I've put it through some decent wind gusts, you know, no storms or anything like that, but you can see there's no tears, there's no rips, nothing is fraying at the points that you would expect some wear and tear over time. And then you can see on the outer fabric itself up top, I mean, it looks almost pristine, even though it's been, you know, sitting in the sun for, I don't know, probably 100 hours or more over the last year. And so it's held up really well. I mean, I think, again, for the price point, you're getting a lot of value and a lot of quality from Overland Vehicle Systems. You get plenty of anchor points. There's one at each of the arms going out. They're really solid. You can see you got several layers of stitching there. And these are even kind of nice on the zippers to pull there. But you get anchor points in the middle between each support arm, and then one at each arm, so plenty of places to tie down. And again, they give you the stakes and the nylon rope to secure the awning. All right, well, let me close out the video by answering the question, would I buy it all over again? Would I buy the Overland Vehicle Systems Nomadic 270 degree awning all over again? And the answer is very simple and straightforward for me. It's a resounding yes, because I think you're getting an incredible amount of value for the price point. I mean, if you're like me, you're not using this awning every single weekend, you're not putting it through heavy use, and so it makes a lot of sense. I think at the price point, you're getting a lot of features, a lot of quality at that particular price point. In fact, I actually bought my rooftop tent over here from the same company, this Bushveld rooftop tent. I did another video on it, so if you're interested in that, I'll put a card up above. But I will mention this, I almost forgot that when I first bought the awning and got it, when it arrived to me, it was packaged very well. It was shipped, I think it was FedEx or UPS, you know, one of the ground transports. And I remember there was a very small tear in the outer vinyl cover that was caused in shipping by basically one part rubbing up against another. And so, of course, reached out to the manufacturer, and they were super easy to work with. You know, I just sent them a picture of the damage right away, and then they sent me a whole new outer cover. You know, it was no arguing, no drama involved. And I think that's really important nowadays because some companies aren't that easy to work with. So yeah, I think it's a really great value. It's definitely something that I would buy all over again. And by the way, guys, this video is not sponsored by the manufacturer. I bought this and paid for it with my own money. I will include affiliate links though in the description below, in the comments below as well. And so I appreciate you using those to help support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything to use them, but it does give me a small commission if you end up buying the awning. Well, if you have any questions, definitely drop me a comment below. I hope you found this video helpful. And as always, thanks for watching.